So let me give you a historicity on the Pharaoh's curse. Okay, let me give you the place of its origin. For those who are Egyptus or Egyptus. Like he gypped us. Egyptus. On the $1 bill, the RC and I. Egyptus. That's what you get. Egyptus. Alright. Like he gypped us of our empire and our kingdom and put a white man over the great house of Africa and Egypt. From the land of Kemet. Okay, but Egyptus. Okay. We still in Amduat, which its origins come from the Valley of the Kings. This is where they find these things, saying how we traveled all around the world in the sun boat, in the Hindu boats or the Septet boats. The kings of our ancestry, we were masters over the sea people, the mysterious sea people of the West. That's what the stories talk about. The Phoenicians, it talks about all of these things. Let me see. The Valley of the Kings. Valley of the Kings. The Valley of the Tombs of the Kings, Arabic, Bibain, Al-Muluk. Valley of the Tombs of the Kings. Long, narrow defile in western, the best, or Thebes, Egypt. Burial site of almost all the pharaohs of the 18th, 19th, and 20th dynasties, 1539 through 1075 BC. From Thutmose I to Ramesses XI. Located in the hills behind Deir al-Bahari, the 60 known tombs exhibit variety both in plan and in decoration. The kings of the New Kingdom, fearing for the safety of their rich burials. That's what the whole thing is about. They feared for the safety of their rich burials. We are the mysterious people of the sea. Our tombs were getting robbed by these other foreigners who came and learned the fame of our country and the fame of our houses and the fame of our great cities in Egypt and Kemet. They came to try to raid us and take it over by, for the wealth, for avaricious people who had extreme desire for wealth. So for the fear of those kind of people coming to rob you and steal everything away from you, from your rich burial places, adopted a new plan of concealing their tombs in a lonely valley in the western hills behind Deir al-Bahari. Here, in tombs sunk deep into the heart of the mountains, the pharaohs of the 18th, 19th, and 20th dynasties, from Thutmose I onward, were interred in the mountains. It's like they say in the biblical account about Moses. He didn't cross the land of Canaan to the promised land. They got a mountain in Sinai called Jebel Musa. He was interred in the mountains. The biblical Moses is not the one in Hollywood that they portray on the film. The white people made a white man to be Moses and shit on the Ten Commandments. But actually, he was a Negro, a Nicus from the kingdom of Cush. He was the king over Cush in Ethiopia. So the first Thutmose onward were interred in the mountains, as well as were one or two queens and officials of high rank. The plan of the tombs varies considerably, but consists essentially of a series of descending corridors, interrupted by deep shafts to baffle robbers, and by pillared chambers or vestibules. They put them deep down in the mountains, hidden from the rest of the world in high places, but they wouldn't get tomb robbed by the invaders, by the people who are learning the fame of our country. The foreigners. The foreigners trying to figure us out. They're trying to come in and break in our house and steal our shit. They don't want us to be here, but they want to own all our things and shit for the wealth of it, for what it's worth. They know we worth a whole lot, so they're trying to. They avaricious. They have a extreme desire for wealth. So they come in to lie, cheat, and steal from us and shit. Egypt us. Egypt us and shit. Like he gypped us and fucked over niggas. Nigga got gypped. Tomb robbery and shit. That's where that word comes from. Tomb robberies and shit. Egypt us. Nigga fucked over nigga. Egypt the niggas. Fucking Egypt us. So to avoid that shit, we were high in the mountains, interred in secret corridors and chambers, okay? And the curse of the Pharaoh was on my tomb. So to baffle the robbers and by pillared chambers or vegetables, at the farther end is the burial chamber with a stone sarcophagus in which the royal mummy was laid, and 4 chambers around which furniture and equipment were stacked for the king's use in the next world. Death is not the ending of life. We believe in the hereafter. We believe we are transmigrate and go to heaven. And it's all on our tomb walls, how we traveled and went into the Stargate of Orion. And we're that bright star. And Sirius. So, all of us from Western Thebes believe that, from the body of the kings. That's the origin of my bloodline. So, and that's just what we believe in. So, it says the walls were in many cases covered with sculptured and painted scenes depicting the dead king in the presence of deities, especially the gods of the underworld, and with illustrated magical text similar to those found in funerary pottery, designed to help him on his journey through the nether regions. There were a number of these texts. They represent differing but not necessarily conflicting views of the afterlife, in which the king had to undergo trials and surmount perils. Now this is what I've been studying all the time for the past time on the curse, Pharaoh's Curse. This is the album I'm working on, and this is the prelude to the choreography and the music I will be doing to the same theme, the Pharaoh's Curse. So I'm giving you the outline of this album I'm working on. I'm a musician, I'm an artist, okay? From the ancestry belief in the sun god, and I'm a son of the sun. I am one enlightened one, somebody giving you all enlightenment. So, all right. In this book that we are on, it's called the Book of That Which Is in the Underworld. For instance, he travels in the boat of the sun. See, we're in Amduat, the Tuat, and I was trying to explain it. That's in the Valley of the Kings. This is where my information is coming from. From the tombs of the pharaohs in Egypt, in Kemet, Thebes in the west, Western Thebes. That's what the country called America, the pre-Columbian era of America, belongs to Western, the best. The best people in Kemet. Oh my God. Which y'all call this Egypt. So, the Book of the Underworld. Book of That Which Is in the Underworld. He travels in a boat of the sun god through 12 caverns that represent the 12 hours of the night. In the Book of Gates, giant serpents guard the portals through which the sun has to pass. And strange jinns and demons, they say, help or hinder the boat on its way. Astronomical figures often decorated the ceilings of the burial chambers. And the sky goddess Nut herself is sometimes painted across the firmament of the stars. She represents mid-heaven. And she is also Inyana, or she is Venus. Well, she is mid-heaven. She is the atmosphere, Nut. All right. Nut is like, I say, let me see. She said, there are some 60 tombs in the valley, almost of all of which were robbed in antiquity. Robbed. They robbed us. They fucked over nigga. They Egypt us. They Egypted Kemet. Egypted Kemet. Egypted nigga. They robbed you. 60 tombs in the valley have been robbed in antiquity. Many of them during the lifetime of the successors or of near descendants of the owners. In the time of Strabo, Greek travelers were able to visit 40 of them. Only the little tomb of Tutankhamun on the floor of the valley, protected by a pile of rock chippings thrown down from a later Ramesside tomb, escaped pillage. So King Tut was the only one that they did never find and shit to rob it. They never robbed King Tut until recently, when the white people came in the 1900s and stole King Tut's treasure out of. Oh, that was the most greatest find they have ever found in Europe. They have nothing like that in Europe. They stole this shit out of Africa. So, see, the wonderful treasures exhumed from Tutankhamun's tomb, now in the Cairo Museum, vividly indicate how rich the burial of a great pharaoh of the empire's heyday must have been. The longest tomb in number 20, that of Queen Hatshepsut, whose burial chamber is nearly 700 feet from the entrance and descends 320 feet into the rock. That's how intricately they were buried. They knew that future people would come and try to fuck them over and Egypt them and rob their tombs and steal everything they owned when they were alive. So that's what the Pharaoh's Curse is all about. The Pharaoh's Curse comes from King Tut's tomb. On his sarcophagus, he left a curse on the lid. He knew motherfuckers were trying to fuck over him. They were trying to do that shit from the day he was alive. They was trying to steal shit from him. I got King Tut's mural from his chamber on my wall right here. He was shooting black people who seemed to be trying to fight him and steal his things from him. So he's putting a bow and arrow in his hand. He's shooting arrows all in these motherfuckers all through this painting that was in his chamber. I made a copy of it. And he was shooting arrows through the black people who was trying to steal from him. So now I always seen this painting since I was a little kid, you know. And I knew what it meant. And I did my research about his wars with the Canaanites and the previous black people was against him for being so rich and so wonderful. He had so many treasures and things they wanted it for themselves. They were avaricious. They wanted to steal his treasure. That's how I'm in his house right now, nigga. Motherfucker hate a nigga doing good. Hate a nigga got something that they want and shit. And they trying to figure out how they gonna take it from him and get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened on the King Tut's, the Pharaoh's Curse. He's putting a bow and arrow through their motherfucking ass. So he's shooting arrows through their fucking stomachs and their chests and shit, leaving them dead underneath his cavalry and his horse chariot. So, and he's riding off into the sunset. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. Can you dig it? Sucker. The Pharaoh's Curse. And King Tut's mortuary tomb in the Valley of the Kings. That's what it's all about. This is the whole theme. So let's begin to put the album together. Let's complete this album. We're doing music. We're doing the choreography for filming music videos.